This is my review of the 2020 Ford Escape. Took this out to Colorado and put it through its paces. Let's dive in. I think this is a nice vehicle. It's a comfortable vehicle. They did a really good job with the design and layout. Things are accessible. The features, the controls, the steering wheel has some awesome features. There's a lot of buttons accessible right at your fingertips, literally. And so the design, the layout, everything is great. It's top notch, I think. I actually really like the Ford display screen on this model compared to the older models, which was just like almost like an MS-DOS sort of readout. This is an actual screen. It feels like you have an iPad in front of you. And the Apple CarPlay app works great. I plug my iPhone in and all of my necessary apps show up right there on the screen, and I can tap and access things. The only thing that I haven't figured out is how to make a phone call using Siri without having to hit this home button on my phone. So that's a little thing. But other than that, great. You can do it with a text message, but I haven't found the phone call button. Took this out to Colorado and put it through its paces. Spent some time up in the Buena Vista, Leadville area. And it's April, and so I got to experience all the different forms of weather. I saw rain, I saw snow, I saw ice, I saw mud and slush, all kinds of stuff like that. It handled pretty well. I will say this is the all-wheel drive model, and I didn't know that it was all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive until I got out there and I found a dirt parking lot to just test and see if I could figure it out, and it's all-wheel drive. And I will say it's a good thing it's all-wheel drive. This vehicle is light. I tried an off-road situation and got a little close to an embankment, which was fine. But where a bigger vehicle would have just rolled over a mound of frozen ice or dirt or whatever it was, this actually, it got pushed over. The back end slid over. And so I was like, ooh. So I will say it's a little bit light for what I would want to have in a vehicle that I was going to use to do off-roading or going up to a trailhead or something like that. But for in-town, around town kind of things, it actually handles really, really well. So that's the one thing that I would have against it. The only other major thing that I would have against it is when the front end of the car gets caked with snow and ice, which I experienced, it covers the sensors for the adaptive cruise control and actually prevented me from using cruise control at all. Instead of just shutting off the adaptive cruise control feature, it just disengaged cruise control altogether, and that was a little bit frustrating. On the other hand, this is the first car I've driven long distance with adaptive cruise control, and this also has the lane sensing, and I will say it does a great job with those. The technology is phenomenal, so it's quite impressive on that. It's got plenty of room. I'm impressed for the size. Even the back seat has a good amount of room, and I have them folded down, and I've got gear back here. So I did a solo trip. It's a great vehicle for one person with some gear. I didn't do it with a family, so I don't know that, but I did sit in the back seat, and there's leg room, so that's good for the size of SUV it is. I love the get up and go of this engine, which I think I was surprised by, to be honest, especially in the mountains. And maybe it's because I'm the only person in the car, so it's not a lot of weight. Just kidding. But I was excited to have that get up and go from this engine. I did not expect, like I said, I did not expect for it to have the power it seems to have. So that's also really helpful. And that, I think, is also partly because of the all-wheel drive situation, because I was on some dirt roads and I still had good power and it didn't have a lot of issues that way. There's also multiple driving features. You can do, like, set it to deep snow or sand. You can set it to eco mode. You can set it to slippery, and it will adjust accordingly. And so there's some really cool features with that. The eco mode is pretty awesome. Pull up to a stop sign, stoplight, whatever, and it shuts the engine off, saving you gas. And then as soon as you take your foot off the brake, it engages the engine, and it only takes maybe 1 second. Literally, if you count 1/1000, your engine's on and you're ready to go. So it doesn't really delay anything in your drivability. So I definitely recommend that feature. If I was in stop and go traffic, like in a traffic jam, that might be a little bit of a different story. I might want to not have it on then, but other than that, I'd use it on a regular basis if I were to purchase this car. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to purchase this car because I prefer something a little bit bigger. So I have a 2004 Ford Explorer, and if that's my baseline model of what I was expecting when I was going to drive this, I would give this it would go up in its rating. I also have a 2008 GMC Yukon XL, which is super comfortable. 4-wheel drive, I can fit the whole family, things like that. And I think this comes in just below that in terms of features and other things like that. So the features are great, but that's got a lot of comfortability. It's got space, it's got room, it's got the 4-wheel drive. I would just put that a little bit higher. So the other downside that I found on this vehicle is the ground clearance is not great. I found one or two spots where I had a little struggle, and I was just pulling into a driveway at the cabin I was staying at. So that was an issue. I wish the ground clearance was just a little bit higher. Even 2 inches would make a big difference on this vehicle, I think. Other than that, if I didn't have a family with kids and a dog and all that kind of stuff, I would definitely recommend buying this, especially if you don't plan to go places where you're doing a lot of real off-roading. It's definitely not built for that. This is a great in the city car. It would handle all of the snow and ice and other weather you can throw at it. It would handle it very, very well. So I definitely would recommend it for that application. But don't try to take this on a 4-wheel drive only road up to a trailhead or something. It's not going to make it. Anyway, I'd be happy to share more of my experience driving this. If that would be helpful for you, feel free to comment below and I will do my best to respond and just let you know my honest thoughts and feedback. Overall though, great vehicle and I would recommend. All right, have a great day.